Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be yet another match between Bisu and Jaedong here on Fighting Spirit. Top left-hand corner, we're going to have the orange Zerg player. It is Jaedong, going by Bisu for some reason, but we solved this mystery a while ago. It is Jaedong, and Bisu confirmed it through chat. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the yellow Protoss player. It is Bisu, the best Protoss player of all time. The best Zerg player of all time here on Fighting Spirit. Holy smokes, you guys. I am excited to cast this game. And yes, we have seen Jaedong and Bisu here on this map. And Jaedong going by Bisu. Just to make sure, I went back and checked. And yes, I have not cast this game already. So this is brand new content for the channel. Alright, so looks like... oh, holy smokes here. Bisu, are you going for a gateway expand here? Maybe a forge first expand? Maybe even a nexus first. That would be really, really interesting. Although the pylon kind of negates that a little bit, just because you don't need the pylon quite yet if you're throwing down a nexus first. And based on the timing of that mineral count, it's probably going to be a gateway and that placement too. And indeed, in fact, it is a gateway first here out of Bisu. Ooh, there's a pool already coming down here. Oh boy, for Jaedong. About a 9-10 pool there, I would have to say, based on the timing of it. So we're going to see some early lings from Jaedong. They're going to cause some problems. Cause some problems here, as that was not a forward first expand. The cannons will not be ready to go. But that's why you scout. This is why you probe scout, Protoss players, is you got to see what's going on. You have to see the timing on that spawning pool. You have to see the timing on the expansion hatch, and there's not one. There's nothing at the natural base right now. And actually, in lieu of scouting, he's just going to try to block off this expansion attempt by Jaedong. Jaedong says, you know what, fine. I'll go expand somewhere else, or possibly just go down and do some scouting of my own. I really don't need a natural right now anyway, although you really do, man. But you're nice if you could have one, at the very least. So there's the pool. How many lings we got? One set. We're going to get more sets? Really? You're going to go pool first with one set of lings and 2 drones? Jaedong, I don't understand your methods, but I really can't question them because you, again, are the greatest Zerg player on planet Earth. So what is he doing here? He doesn't have the expansion. He's going to be down. Maybe it's just a fake out. Maybe it's just to make Bisu worry for his own Protoss life and say, I can't expand yet. There's going to be a bunch of lings on the way. And there are 2, mind you. Right, which is fine. And actually, the probe kind of sacrificing itself. Come back and kill me. Don't go kill the stuff down here at the other side of the map. But no, we got a zealot on the way. Going for, oh, just expanding way over here is Jaedong. Taking his 3rd as his 2nd base. And then maybe he's going to be able to take this base here as his natural. We'll call this his natural. Zealot comes up and says, you know what? If you're going to be aggressive, I'm going to be aggressive too. I'm going to start pumping zealots and sending them after your dudes. So natural base going down. Zealot here and a probe. Dude, this is everybody here is in a lot of trouble right now. These drones are in trouble. The lings are in trouble. More lings do pop out now. Now, 4 lings are a much, much better answer to a single zealot. But guess what's coming? Additional zealots are coming up. One guy goes down. Another one shows up. Look at those health bars up so you can see exactly what's going on. And it is going to be, okay, so 6 lings is definitely enough here. The zealot trying to micro itself as much as possible, but it's just not going to happen. Kill as many lings as he can before he goes down. And it was 2. So, I mean, it was fine. It was better to get some damage done, but straight up losing those zealots, not that great from Bisu. Again, it does force units out of the Zerg and force Jaedong to make stuff other than drones, which is really important in the early stages of this game. Gas is on the way. Got that quick lair coming up here too, and both bases really not saturated at all yet. There really hasn't been a time for Jaedong to do that, to really just blast out a ton of drones, because there have been zealots up in his face. Bisu has expanded. Bisu is working on a cybernetics core at this point. It's a little bit late, because again, the zealots took a lot of those early minerals that would normally go right to getting a cybernetics core and other tech, and therefore it is delayed. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on what he's going to do after Cybercore, because that is the interesting part of the Protoss build order. And a Forge coming in here too. I don't know if he needs cannons necessarily, but it's better to have a Forge for upgrades and cannons if you know, as necessary, rather than not having those things. So here's a bit of a contained setup by Jaedong. It's nothing much though. Really not going to slow down Bisu at all. Bisu's going to sit behind his wall, be very happy with himself. And yeah, I have to imagine this lair is just going to be for Scourge, as he assumes it's going to be a Stargate opening, and it is. He assumes there will be Corsairs coming his way, and he just wants to have a couple Scourge to deal with that, and he should be fine. He should be totally fine shooing those Corsairs away. And there's the Spire. So nothing too crazy here from anybody yet here in the early stages on Fighting Spirit. I like that Jaedong has 3 bases up sub 5 minutes. That's pretty great for him as a Zerg player. The Protoss player Bisu pretty happily sitting on 2 as well, and able to tech up to whatever he wants to. There's really no threat of Zerg attack coming anytime soon. Again, handful of Lings out here, but they don't want to engage. Those are 4 Zealots, man. 4 Zealots against this many Lings is just not going to go well for anybody, any of the Zerg involved, at least. Look at this control by Jaedong, though. He's not just A-moving. He's trying to pick off individual Zealots. This is something that Bisu's trying to do to kill Zerg for a while now, for many years now. He just goes, hey, Zealot Flood. You want to do Ling Floods? I can do Zealot Floods, and you can't wall off that easily as Zerg. So it's going to be a battle here. I think this is enough Lings to handle this. Especially, yeah, I mean, a lot of Lings are dying, but the Zealot count is starting to fall rather precipitously, and there we go. Handled. Just enough Lings. Didn't overmake Lings, right? Still had maybe 8 or so here. That's just enough to continue your play of setting up a bit of a contain, scouting, seeing what Bisu's throwing your way. And yes, people are reporting how many shots it takes for a Corsair to kill an Overlord. It's like how many licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop. And the answer is about 35 to 40, depending on some things. Depending on, I don't know, how people count. It's a big number, and if you're trying to count it in the middle of a game, sometimes you miss a couple ones early, sometimes you lose count a little bit, and as a result, your numbers may differ from your friends. But it's basically around 35, is what I'd like to say. Now, here comes the Corsair. It's going to go ahead and try to kill some Overlords here in the main base, but there are Scourge in production, and there's really nothing to find here anyway. There's an Overlord in the middle of the map there. There's an Overlord here at the 3rd base. Is that going to be? No static defense at all. These Corsairs could actually have a nice time picking off Overlords if they wanted to. There's 2 more up here in the top right-hand corner, but for some reason they're not choosing to go up there and go in the bottom right-hand corner instead. Perhaps maybe scouting to see if you can take a 3rd base sometime soon. I don't know. More Zealots, man. Bisu loving his Zealots today. And Only Star is definitely a Bisu Smurf name, according to the Smurf list over on Liquipedia. We've got, ooh, nice engage there. One hit on the Corsair. And then the cannon finishing off the other Scourge, no big deal. Now, we do have a bit of a Evolution Chamber, Sunken Colony, Hatchery Wall going on here. Scourge popping, Lings are here from both sides. Again, surrounds are key on these Zealots. You really need to get the surrounds, otherwise they will wreck your day, and that is just fantastic. Sunken Colony getting some extra shots off too, and that Zealot dies for nothing. That was a really, really bad attack for Bisu. He wasn't able to do anything but force out some Lings. He lost all of his Zealots. The resources lost here are going to be way in favor of Jaedong this stage of the game. Scourge trying to get some shots off. Nope, that was a win. That was a win for Bisu. It is 60 to 38 supply. Bisu is up in overall supply, but again, Jaedong is extremely comfortable with that in ZVPs, even going against somebody as good as Bisu is. I just see a couple Corsairs go down to Scourge. I feel like that's what happened. We only have 4, and I could have sworn we had 6 a second ago. Could have sworn it. Anyway, 4th base on the way for Jaedong in the top right-hand corner. He is going for what else, man? Flyer Carapace, so that the Scourge are a little bit harder to pick off before they suicide bomb into your face if you're a Corsair. Really, nothing else needs to worry about that necessarily. I guess carriers, if you made some carriers. Man, Bisu is in love with his Zealots. He's finally making a DT for the first time in this game. But he's in love with his Zealots. They do have the leg enhancements. They've got +1 attack too. They're coming up to the 3rd, as is the traditional timing here, is to come try to wipe out the 3rd base of the Zerg player with a bunch of Zealots. And it's not going to work. There's a Sunken here already. Another Sunken's going to be here shortly. A Spore Colony here to get rid of the Corsairs. And yeah, this is just good luck. Good luck getting in here. There's no area for these Zealots to really attack into. Some Hydras are popping out just in time. Taking some shots here, though. Hydra goes down. Sunken is really key to this defense. And sure, a lot of Lings die, and a Hydralisk dies, and a couple drones are going to die, but eventually that's a hold. Jaedong able to make just enough to hold there. Didn't lose much. A couple drones, like I said, and a couple Lings and a couple Hydras. And otherwise fine. Hydra production has begun in earnest right now. Corsair group is now definitely up to 6. Is he still making Corsairs? No, he's done with that, but he's still making Zealots. All right, where are the DTs at is my question. Where are the Dark Templar? Defending his 3rd. He's trying to take up here north towards Jaedong's base. And the Corsairs trying to find stuff to kill. There are no Overlords, really. Everybody's kind of clustered around static defense right now. And it's totally just fine. Just fine for the Overlords. They're very, very safe. Finally working on High Templar is Bisu researching Storm. Again, trying to pick off Overlords, but when there are Hydras on the ground and Spore Colonies, it's going to be a bad time for you. Lurker aspect on the way for Jaedong. I do like Lurkers against this particular composition. They do well against Zealots, and they can't be bothered by Corsairs at all. Unless you go Disruption Web, which we did see. We did see Disruption Web used, you guys. There was a 2v2 that I posted a couple of days ago, the most recent video on the channel, actually. And the Protoss player actually used Disruption Web, researched it, and used it to pretty good effect against Hydralisks, against Spore Colonies, against Marines in some situations. It was just, their energy was there, so might as well use it. And I really feel like a lot of you people who talk about, man, get Disruption Web, why not? I think you've been vindicated a little bit. I think it's good. I mean, we'll never ever see it probably in a professional game, but that's okay. It's a good spell, I think. Corsair, nope, they both died in a shower of blood instead of the green explosion, which is the gas inside their bodies that they use to actually explode up against these units. That's how you can tell. That's how you can tell if it actually connected or just got shot down right before connecting, is the color of the Scourge death. So just Zealots, man. Just Zealots, High Templar, Corsairs. There's some DT out there as well. I don't think the DT have been aggressive at all. Just, actually, where the heck is that Dark Templar? He might have wandered over somewhere and gotten picked off, and seems entirely possible, as they are very sneaky and hard to see. But if there's detection, like Spore Colonies, like Overlords, they really have a bad time. And there are no more DT in production. It's going to be Zealot Corsair for all the livelong day. And Zealot's okay against Hydras if they can get it right on top of them like that. But then the Lurkers show up, and that is the cue for the Zealots to make their leave. Sorry, they said we have come to the wrong house. Please pardon us. We will never come back again. Okay, that's a lie. They'll probably come back again. Lurker's coming down. This is an aggressive Lurker push right now. There are only Dragoons and Zealots here. Hydra Lurker pretty good against that composition by Protoss. Burrowing in. Yeah, I mean, the Dragoons can trade pretty well. The Zealots are horrible, but the Hydras trade exceptionally well against the Dragoons. It's kind of a good situation, depending on what can attack what, which is generally a lot of what StarCraft is about. What exactly can attack what? Right? If your Zealots are trying to attack the Lurkers, they're going to have a bad time. If your Dragoons are trying to attack the Hydralisks, they're going to have a bad time, but if the vice versa is true, you're going to be just fine if you're Bisu. So 3 base to 4 base right now. It is 7 Dragoons at a time by Bisu, recognizing the threat that these Lurkers are. Good scouting by the Corsairs, too. They end up seeing, some Hydras popping out. There is a Hive on the way. Any Hive tech coming in? No, just Nidus Canal stuff for quick reinforcements. That one Lurker left behind as a scouting Lurker, as a warning to the others, does get picked off. It is 147 to 114 supply. Bisu's up big time right now. And we'll see if Jaedong can do his customary, 12 to 15 minute mark thing where he just swells way ahead in supply against the Protoss and just wins. Looks like Bisu is kind of trying to stop that thing now. If I can attack now, he says, maybe I can make Jaedong a little bit more mortal. Adrenal Glands is on the way for the Zerglings, making them that much better against the Dragoons. We've got Corsairs flying on in, just picking off Overlords. They do supply block Jaedong here. 116 out of 112 available supply. Hydra counterattack coming down. Is there a 4th base coming up for Bisu? Of course there's a 4th base coming up for Bisu. We're 13 minutes in. And let's do this thing. But there are 3 charge lots present. Is that going to be enough? 1 Hydra dies. I feel like I need a little bit more reinforcements to deal with that than that. Some Lings. Oh, Dark Templar walks through a storm. All of his shields get removed. And yeah, these Hydras aren't going to do anything because the reinforcements came in to finish them off. 4th base will be secure for the time being for Bisu. 6 more Zealots in production. Defiler production has begun, and this composition is exactly what you want if you're going Dark Swarm Plague Defiler, which is something that Jaedong is really comfortable with. I really feel like at this point, Bisu needs to start transitioning into Archons if he has a hope of winning this game, just because the Plagues are so good against these Zealots. And the Dragoons coming on in. That is a lot of Sunkens and a lot of Lurkers and just a bit of a choke you don't want to really run into. That said, Bisu's starting to move up a little bit here. Just a little bit. Another Lurker dies. Their death sounds are very easily recognizable. Ling's cruising on in. They've got +1/+1. And Adrenal Glands, they're working on +2/+2. Not quite there yet, but Adrenal Glands just really increases the DPS enough to where you can take down cannons really fast. The Zealot is a problem, though. This guy takes out all but one of the Zerglings, and one Zergling can't really take down a base all by his lonesome, though he really will try his hardest to do so. More Lings coming down to reinforce this guy who's all alone. And guess who's coming in here too? Bisu. Bisu shows up as well to say, hey, these buildings aren't quite done yet. You are not allowed to come in and see them before they are ready. It's a birthday present for you, Jaedong. Get on out. That actually reminds me, I took my 5-year-old daughter to a birthday party the other day, and So we put the presents on the table with the rest of the presents, and as soon as she puts hers on the table, it's just in a bag, and it's kind of closed up, but not really. The birthday boy, the 5-year-old birthday boy, wanders over, gets up on the table, opens the bag, and looks in, and goes, Beyblades! It's the most, like, blatant kid thing I've seen in a while. He didn't care about your convention. He didn't believe in the social construct of waiting until it's time to open presents and know what your presents are going to be. His mom got mad at him, but he didn't care. He kept doing it throughout the rest of the time. It was kind of funny. All right, so Lurker's burrowing on that ramp. That is hard to crack if you're a Protoss player, man. I mean, sure, Dragoons can do it fairly well. Ooh, storming on the high ground, too. Reinforcements really should start coming in, as a 5th base by Jaedong is going to be a big deal, considering we do, in fact, have a 4th base already complete here for Bisu. Corsairs continuing to fly around and just kill Overlords. You're not allowed to scout anything at all. Mr. Jaedong, I'm going to kill every one of your Overlords that wanders out past the safety of the Scourge. And, okay, decent hits there, but, man, some injured Corsairs, but not all that much. Storm, make the Lings coming down that ramp just useless, and I think that hatchery's going to die. I really do. 170 to 159 supply. See, Jaedong is starting to swing back up into the, in that unit count, in that army count, but supply count. He's not quite there yet, but now he is. 9 Zerglings, 2 Hiders in production. We've got the Defilers there. There's the Consume, which somebody recently called the most overpowered spell in all of StarCraft, and I don't know I can necessarily disagree with him. Guess what? Storm drops! Ooh, that's what you need to do. A lot of the storm drop action. Turning that guy into an Archon, too. Those 2 High Templar are turning into an Archon, which is just beautiful stuff. And guess what? More storm drops. Blah, 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 blah. Wow! Those were 2 exceptionally good storm drops by Bisu. And suddenly it's 186 to 156 supply. Overlord's getting destroyed here. Bisu is under fire, and this is the perfect time for... Actually, Jaedong's under fire. This is the perfect time for Jaedong, or for Bisu, to get this thing done. My goodness, get the names right, Falcon. You got this. You got this thing. Scourge flying in, trying to get... Nope, can't get that shuttle. That shuttle is happy as a clam. Zergling's trying to stop the attack on in. I can't believe this base is alive. I really don't. I guess maybe the presence of Defiler is enough to discourage that action. Supply blocked right now is Jaedong. You know what? A drop would be pretty good. The Hydra count is starting to increase at that mineral line, though, so never mind. 6 hatchery, bam, done, canceled, and the drone gets picked off as well. It is a maxed out Bisu to 156 supply blocked Jaedong. We could very well see a Bisu win here, you guys, which honestly, people do say Zerg is overpowered in this matchup, but it doesn't mean that Zerg wins every single time, and this could be a prime example of that reality. Corsairs trying to take down Overlords. No, say the Hiders. Leave our Overlords alone. No, say the Corsairs will take some damage in exchange for killing your Overlord and hopefully supply blocking you further, but no. Actually, Jaedong made a ton of Overlords, and he's at 200 supply, so he's like, I'm never getting supply blocked again. I do that sometimes in games myself, where I'm like, what? I've got 1,000 minerals. Bam, all the Overlords, and then I never get supply blocked again, and it's nice. All right, Bisu's setting up. He really wants to kill Jaedong. Now, the longer the game goes on, the more Defiler energy there will be, the more Defilers there will be, the better the upgrades will be for Jaedong's army, and this the more difficult overall it's going to be to crack that nut. Are you still doing the storm drop attempts here? I just don't know if it's working out for you. Oh boy, especially with that many Scourge chasing y'all in, but they did pull back and go back home. Is that another base? Yeah, man. Bisu's taking a base on the right side here, too. That's going to be his 5th. It's going to be 5 bases to the 5 bases of Jaedong. What a great match this is. But honestly, any match between Bisu and Jaedong is going to be an exciting and entertaining one, and that's probably why you clicked on this video, is for that reason. Scourge flying into cannons and just dying. I don't know if that's to free up supply. Jaedong is pretty close to maxed out at this point, going for Metasynaptic Node. That is that one. Yep, that is what that one is. 50 additional Defiler maximum potential energy. And here we go again. Reavers on the ground. Bam, bam. Goodbye, Sunkens. The Sunkens don't last long in this situation. The Lurkers are a problem. The Plagues are a problem. The Storms are really good, too. Actually storming a lot of that Zerg. Storming eggs. Dark Swarm is up, but enough Reavers and Archons are present. This is looking really good for Bisu right now. Just streaming Hydras and Lurkers and Defilers and trying to do what they can. Another Dark Swarm comes up and actually going to force Bisu to retreat from this location. Another Plague happens. Again, the Archon doesn't care, but everybody else does. Scourge trying to explode on that shuttle. Can't quite do it. Too many Lurkers on the ground here. I'm looking at it. I'm looking and I'm seeing too many Lurkers on the ground. Oh, yeah. Oh, for heaven's sakes, man. We're back. Hotkeys are tricky sometimes. Whew. Alright, so now Jaedong coming into this 5th base, this newly set up base here for Bisu. Lurker's burrowing, a couple Hydras burrowing, Dark Swarm is up. Zealots are here in a great storm on those Hydras. More Lings are trying to roll on in and do this thing, but the Zealots can trade pretty darn well. Coming out of the storm a little bit here are the Lings and actually getting murdered as a result. Keeping the High Templar alive. Nice babysitting there by Bisu, and it looks like he's going to clean this thing up no problem, because he does hang on to his 5th base. Some Zealots here to make sure his 6th doesn't come up easily for Jaedong at the very least. We don't want it to be easy for the Zerg player. 196 to 157 supply. Wow, there was more damage done at this attack than I thought there was. Bisu is up big time. He's on even base count versus Jaedong, which is not where the Zerg players want to be. 5 Archons at a time are coming in, and we've seen Jaedong struggle to switch up to how to deal with a mass Archon play from Protoss, and the answer is Hydralisk. The answer is definitely Hydralisks with upgrades, and that's what we're looking at from Jaedong right now. How many? What are the upgrades for this guy? That's now a Lurker egg. What the what? No, why are you still making Lurkers? I don't know about this. So 3-2 on the Hydras, which is great. The army's out of position, and guess what? Here comes Bisu right into the natural. That Nidus Canal dies first. Reinforcements are not going to be easy to get here. Nice plague on a couple of these Dragoons and a couple of the Reavers. Both of the Reavers, actually. Sunken's getting taken down as well. Trying to come in the backside means you're going to get your face rightly stormed off here. Dark Swarm here, too. The Archon's continuing to push in. It looks like this army is just running endlessly into Storm, but the Storm's maybe out at this point. Are we trying to drop on in here? I don't know, but the Overlord's taking a lot of fire here too. 190 to 137 supply. The natural base is gone for Jaedong, and just streaming in Hydras under Dark Swarm protection, trying to do what they can. The Archons don't care. The Reaver does not care. The Reaver does actually end up getting picked off by the Hydralisk. Nice target firing there by Jaedong. This Archon has 10 kills. He's standing against the Swarm. He ends up falling there too. But guess what? Walking into the main base now is Bisu's army. This Archon has 4 kills. This Archon has 5 kills. Lings running on in. Bisu is trying to finish Jaedong off right now. Jaedong has no interest in being finished off. Lurkers on the ramp there. Nice Dark Swarm again. Going after the Spire. Interestingly enough, that's his priority target there, not the drones. But now that the Spire is gone, the drones can be a target. And a problem here. We have more Lings running on in, trying to stop this army. That is a 10-kill Archon, everybody. Ooh, the Defiler getting target fired. Not actually getting target fired at all. The Dragoons should be taking him down. He's not inside the Dark Swarm at all. More Lurkers here. More Lings here. It looks like Jaedong is going to be able to shut this thing down eventually. Archon down. Dragoon down. Hoorah! Okay, so that was a damaging attack. Losing his natural, which is a source of income right now. Taking another base behind that was Bisu, and now suddenly we're 6 basing it to a 1, 2, 3, 4 basing Jaedong. Jaedong is in a large amount of trouble right now. He's got Lings, which are well upgraded. They're 3-3 Lings, and the Hydralisks are 3-2 with more Defilers on the way. But man, the number of bases is just absolutely problematic here for Jaedong. He's not feeling it. He's not feeling healthy. Economically, he's not replanting his natural. He's not trying to take... He did take a 6th up here, actually. Wow, yellow and orange, man. Maybe I'm colorblind. Seems entirely possible. Alright, so these Archons have 2-2-3, which is insane. Absolutely insane here. 2-2-3 there on the Zealots. And we're just dancing. Bisu's being patient. He's like, I'm up about 40 supply, and Jaedong's economy is not healthy, and I'm feeling pretty good about stuff. Maybe let's max out before we go on in. Are you serious? And here's the final attack. Sorry, my Discord is going off. I had that set to streamer mode. I swear on my mother's life. Lurker's trying to come in and deal with this, but the Reaver count is a little bit high. Storms all along the right sides. All the Hydras and the Lings are getting massacred there as well. 175 to 116 supply. Bisu looks like he's done this thing. Jaedong's army is just down to almost nothing right now. Handful of Lings and a single Lurker. Hydra's getting picked off alone. More units streaming across on the right side of the map. Nice plague here, but the Reaver just having a field day against these units. Defiler control is non-existent. He does get picked off there, and that's your good game by Jaedong. Jaedong is out, and Bisu is your winner in 24 minutes and 46 seconds. Oh boy. All right, hang on a second. Let me turn off Discord. Nope, streamer mode is on. I don't know what that was. Streamer mode means there's no beeps, and I heard some beeps. So maybe I was hallucinating. Auditory hallucinations, entirely possible, but dang. Nice job by Bisu. You Protoss fans in the PvZ arena will be extremely happy to see this result. And really, it just came down to Bisu switching over to that Archon play just enough, and the Reaver play just enough, right before Jaedong was able to really get up into that Mass Hydra stuff. Killing the natural base was huge too. That attack, the army was just out of position a little bit over here from Jaedong. Bisu was able to sneak on in, set up here in this little choke, and that means the Zerg player, to defend his own bases, had to go through this choke. Nope, too late, your natural's dead. And then up through this choke, this ramp, up too late, your Spire is dead. Just gorgeous, gorgeous Protoss play from Bisu. I am so impressed with what he was capable of doing in this game. It really goes to show why he is the greatest Protoss player that Brood War has ever produced. And once that happened, I mean, that was the key. Once this base was gone, suddenly the income by Jaedong was disgusting. It was low. It was lower than Bisu's. He expanded behind it like a boss. And it all rolls down to Jaedong out of position, right? Bisu did a great job clearing Overlords out with the Corsairs throughout the game. So Jaedong was playing in the dark quite a bit. Had no idea where the army was most of the time. He would never have moved out here if he knew that Bisu was coming up from the south to try to wipe out his natural base. Caught him with the pants down just a little bit and got the win. So great, fantastic, wonderful job by Bisu. I'm sure you Bisu fans will be just excited beyond all belief at this result. Look at this High Templar moving. That's cool. That is a cool little still there. Okay, let's check out the final score, and we'll get on out of here. Man, 782 units produced in 24 minutes and 46 seconds versus Bisu's 252, so outproduced 3 times. Yet, killed 581 to 147 and lost 596 to 149. That's it. So, I mean, this happens a lot. We do see Zerg players win with these numbers. But what matters over here is going to be the resources. It's close, right? More gas mined by Bisu, more minerals mined by Jaedong. Spent just barely more by Jaedong, and to beat a Protoss player in a ZVP, you got to spend a lot more, significantly more to beat them because their units are so cost effective. You see Archons with 10 or 15 kills, Reavers with 20 plus kills, High Templar storming all over the place. They are expensive units, they are deadly units, and to make use of them, you can do so with fewer resources than the Zerg. Or more resources than the Zerg. Anyway, you just got to spend more money. You got to more gas, more mined from the minerals, and spend more if you're Jaedong to take down a Protoss. And did not happen today. So great job by Bisu. And that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. I'll go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. Haul it /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.